body's not a distraction to your friends around you? Let me see your eyes. All right. Yesterday, we talked about how we can use feelings. All right. We can use our characters' feelings in our realistic fiction stories. All right. So we talked about how we have characters and people talking, and we have dialogue, and we have a problem, right? And so with that problem, sometimes comes feelings, right? Or with a solution, sometimes comes feelings. All right? So we talked about how we can use strong words, okay? Should we be using happy, sad, mad, and scared all of the time? No, right? We talked about how there's so many other synonyms for happy and sad, happy and sad, and mad and scared, right? What are some examples of that? What's an example of happy? What other word could I use to say and describe that someone's happy? Hannah?
Joyful.
Joyful. Mahi?
Excited.
Excited. Jasmine?
Delighted.
Delighted. All right, one more. Holly?
Thrilled.
Thrilled. All right. So yesterday we said that we can say how our character is feeling, right? But today we're going to talk about how we can show how our characters are feeling in our writing. So let's look at this chart. It says show, don't tell feelings. Okay? So instead of saying he was petrified, all right, we can show by describing the character's face, the character's body, and the character's voice. So here's an example. By showing how his face looked, we could say his eyes were wide with fright and his mouth was open in horror. All right? Or with our body, his knees were shaking and he covered his face with his hands. All right? That is how we can show that he's petrified. Or with the voice, he spoke slowly and his voice quivered. That means it was shaking. He could barely get out a few words. All right? Is that more interesting to read and gives you more of an image than just saying he was petrified? Yeah. But we're still saying that our character is petrified, right? But we're doing it by showing how his body looks. Okay? So we could do this with saying someone was angry, all right? Bailey was happy. We could say, a gigantic grin spread across Bailey's face and her eyes lit up like the sky on the 4th of July. All right? So I want to give you an example of how we could decide how our characters look, right, or maybe sound. Okay, so we're going to act out how our characters might look when they're angry. How does this little girl look? What feeling do you think we could describe? How does she look? Reese? What? Oh, yeah, so you're already describing. Reese is already showing how she looks, right? But what character feelings? How does she feel, do you think? Is she happy, scared, mad? She's angry, right? So can I have two friends? Jasmine and, let's see, Jasmine and Haroon. All right, can you come up front? All right, Jasmine and Haroon. All right, think about a time in your life where you were really, really angry. I want you to face the class, and I want you to show the class how your face might look, how your body might look, and maybe even how your voice might look. So what would you sound like? All right, ready, set, go. How would you look if you're really, really angry, Jasmine? Haroon's stomping his feet. Jasmine, how would your face look if you were angry? Say your brothers did something that really, really upset you. They stole your favorite toy and broke it. How would your face look?
Yeah, they took
How would your face look, Jasmine?
They did Shiloh? Yeah. If they did, then I would murder them.
Oh, Jasmine, no. How would your face look?
Just act like they just took
If they took Shyler. You guys show right, so let's think about that. What did our faces look like? What were we doing? How could we describe that in our writing? Mahak? Angry, but what could we say that our faces were doing? Alright guys, listen to Mahak. Mahak said her face was squished together maybe? Jakaya? Your face was scrunched, your eyebrows were scrunched. I was grinding my teeth, right? Varun had his fists clenched together. He was stomping his feet, right? So we can describe how we see that happening. Alright? One more. I need two more friends. Alright. Ben and Kalina. Okay? How do you think that this little boy feels? What's his feeling? Scared. Yeah. You might feel a little sad, terrified, scared. Alright, Kalina and Ben. Make sure your mask is over your nose. Kalina and Ben, I need you to look terrified in your face, your body, and your voice. Uh-oh. Your face, your body. Alright, I see Kalina. Kalina's body is kind of clenched in a ball. What about your face? What would your face look like?
She looks like she's trying to social distance.
So Ben has wide eyes, right? His shoulders are slouched together. Alright, and what would your voice sound like? Go ahead and sit back down. Thank you for putting it in bed. Abby, what would your voice sound like? Maybe quivering, right? Your voice is quivering. Right. Simone? Maybe you're a little bit scared or terrified with that, right? Your voice is shaking. Maybe your whole body is shaking, right? Maybe your teeth are shivering. Oh, I see Ava's rolled up in a ball. Ben, that needs to be in your lap. All right? So when we're writing our stories, let's refocus. Check your bodies. Thank you. All right. When we're writing our stories, we can show how our characters are feeling by talking about how their face looks, how their body looks, and how their voice sounds. Okay? What? Well, now we're going to look at how I can do this in my own writing. All right? So this guy, how do you think he feels? Mahak? Calm? Peaceful? Simone? Quiet. All right. Come back together. So you're showing me how he looks calm. Turn and tell your partner how you could write. What's a sentence that you could use to describe how he is calm? Now acting it out. What is a sentence that you could write in your story? What did you say? Quiet. What's a sentence? What is a sentence? How do you think your body would look or feel? All right, turn those bodies back around. So I saw a lot of you guys acting that out, but how could we write that in our story? When you were acting out, think about how your body felt. Okay, so put yourself in your character's shoes. If your character was calm, right? How could we describe that? Jasmine? Abby? Yeah. So he breathed in and out. You could hear the sigh of his voice. Then this is we're showing how our character is feeling, right? Not telling. Okay? So Haroon, that's how you would look, but how would you write that? Calm. Think about what your body is doing. You could see his arms relaxed, right? Okay? Ava, one more.
It was so quiet he fell asleep.
It was so quiet that he fell asleep, so you could describe the environment that he was in.
Baby one. There was a baby one.
All right, so yesterday we looked how I could add character feelings in my story, right? By saying that someone was frustrated or scared. But today I'm going to show you how I could turn a simple feeling into telling how they were feeling and showing what that might look like. Okay? So we're going to go to my new story. All right, and let's look at my middle again. So before in my middle, I described that he was frustrated because his sister was crying. And he was scared because he burnt his arm. Then do you have a question? After the lesson. All right, so let's look at my middle. While Gavin was playing, he heard his sister crying in the other room. Gavin jumped up and ran to the other room to check on Lucy to try and calm her down. Gavin clenched his jaw and started to breathe heavy because he didn't know how to help Lucy. Okay, so I said he clenched his jaw. He was breathing really heavy. What character feeling might I be describing? When you're reading that, how can you think about Gavin? How is he feeling? Alex? Angry, frustrated, right? Simone? Mad. He can't help his sister, so he's breathing heavy and he's clenching his jaw. His teeth are tight, right? After that, Gavin ran to the kitchen and shouted, "Mom, Mom, Lucy is crying and I can't stop her." "Thanks, honey. I will go check on her. Please be careful in here because the stove is hot," his mom said. Gavin's mom walked into the other room to check on Lucy. Then Gavin thought he could help his mom by stirring the chili. So he grabbed a chair from the kitchen table. When Gavin tried to get up, he set his other hand on the hot stove. Gavin's voice was shaky as he screamed, "Ah, I burned my hand! Help! Help!" When he looked down at this blistered red hand, his face turned pale and his eyes were filled with tears. Turn and tell your partner how Gavin is feeling and why. How do you know Gavin is feeling? What? Georgina, Reese. Thank you. Turn those bodies back around. Make sure you're facing the front. Ava, how is Gavin feeling and how do you know that? He was upset? Yeah, and how do you know that? What did I say that told you that? What was his voice doing? What was his face doing? What was his body doing? Hannah? He screamed. His voice was shaky, right? That shows that you're a little bit scared. If you're like, I burned my hand, right? His voice was shaky. His face turned pale, okay? So sometimes when you get really, really scared, right, or you're hurt, your face can turn pale, right? His eyes were filled with tears, okay? So you could tell that he was really, really scared, kind of upset, right? So today, while you are writing, okay, I know that a lot of you guys finished your storyboards yesterday, so we should begin writing our story today, okay? We're going to be picking a seed soon, so it's very important that that we're writing our story, staying focused while we're writing, okay? But yesterday we added character feeling to our story, okay? Once you do that today, I want you to think about how their voice might sound, how their body might look, how their face might look, okay? So when you're describing your characters, right, we can add in descriptions of their faces, their bodies, and the voices to show how they're feeling and not tell the reader, right? So if you are sitting on a pink dot, you can stand up and go back to your seat.
When you're moving. I'm playing.